guys, what's up? It's Jason, and I'm basically back home for a couple of days while I have a video shoot here. And I'm not gonna lie when I say that it's completely weird. It's weird being back in my old house. So today, I want to talk to you guys about how you can improve your productivity and get more things done even in weird situations like this. Let's get straight into it. What is this? So this is basically where my old room is. Yeah, this is just where I used to spend all my time, just doing nothing, wasting life away on YouTube and the internet. This is actually where I used to sit every single day. And you can actually tell because it's actually like indented too. And yeah, it's just crazy to me to think that like I literally spent years sitting here doing nothing. But anyways, let's get into those tricks. Oh. So now, tip number one is actually setting up your environment for success. You see, because if you have a lot of distraction or a lot of clutter or a lot of things that are going to get in the way of you being productive, it's going to get in the way of you being productive. So for me, as an example, I like an actual office. I like an actual space that's separated from everything else that I do, so I can go in and it's just meant for that one thing, right? It's just meant for getting work done, right? Versus like my bedroom is more so for rest and relaxation. My living room's for entertainment. You see, one of the biggest things to be able to set up a good environment is actually first removing all distractions and cleaning up your space, because it's actually been scientifically proven that the more distractions, the more messy your environment that you're trying to work out of is. It essentially, it causes you to be less productive because your brain has so many different things that it could focus on at once that it can't focus on the thing that you need to do the most, which might be writing a paper, finishing a video, getting that project done that you've been wanting to do, finishing the painting, whatever it is. You know, you need to be able to clean up your space and you need to be able to remove all distractions so that you can just focus on that one thing. And the same thing can be said true about your desktop on your computer, your phone. The more distractions that you have when you're doing something, the easier it is to not do the work because now you have an excuse not to do it. Now, another thing you need to keep in mind is also setting reminders for yourself for things that you need to do in the places that you look at the most. So for example, if I need to remind myself to take a cold shower every single day, I literally have a piece of paper that is right next to my shower, my bathroom, that essentially I can see to remind myself, hey, you should take a cold shower today. Or if I want to write in my journal every single time I wake up, I set my journal literally right next to where I'm sleeping. So as soon as I wake up, it's one of the first things that I see and it instantly triggers in my mind, oh, I should journal right now. Or if I want to do handstands, I always set a piece of paper on the wall right where I want to do handstand. So as soon as I walk past it, I'm reminded, oh yeah, I should do a handstand today. I don't know why I'm standing like this, by the way. I'm just kind of trying to figure out cool shots for this house. Now, another thing you can do is actually proactively set up your space for success as well. So since you're removing all the distractions and you're removing all the things that you would take away your attention from what you want to do, now on the other side of that, you want to proactively design your space to promote productivity. So designing your space where as soon as you get into it, the first thing you want to do is the most important task of the day, or the most important thing to you. So if you walk into your office and then you want to remember to, you know, drop off that client's folder or drop off those, like your client's photos or videos, or to write that essay, already from the night before or the time before, have it set up so the moment you sit down, that's the first thing that you see. So you know, like, oh yes, I should do this first. And it just removes any sort of friction that you have from being able to do what you want to do and what you're not doing already. And it just easily makes it to where just do the task anyways, because you don't really have a good reason not to since it's already there. Now, let's go into the second tip. Side note before I get to the second tip, these are my stairs and they're death traps, literal death traps. Like, look at this. It's not even big enough for my entire foot to fit with like from wall to wall. So we just have to like walk down the steps sideways. I just don't get it. But anyways, on to the next tip. Oh, so now the next tip is essentially planning out your day. So now a lot of people, they kind of go into this sort of productivity and success habits of just kind of winging it. They don't really know what they're doing. They're just trying to figure out what they want to do and how it's going to get done. But they don't actually take the time, the 10 to 30 minutes to actually plan out their day to make it easier, so that you know exactly what you need to do, you know exactly when you need to do it, and you know exactly what to focus on. And that's essentially what planning your day is. It's just creating a roadmap of things that you should and shouldn't be doing. It essentially promotes the idea that you know exactly what you need to work on, and you know exactly what you need to work on when. And there's lots of different ways you can do it. In fact, like, there's countless ways you can plan your day. There's countless ways you can plan everything out. I'm just gonna cover a couple of ideas that I think are really good and a little bit of how I do it, but feel free to do it however you want. This is just exactly how I prefer doing it. So now there's two ways to do it. There's two ways to plan your day in my book. You can either plan it the night before, or you can plan it the day of. Personally, I prefer planning it the night before because it allows me to just wake up and know exactly what I want to do when, and I don't have to think any process of it. But there are some people that don't enjoy doing that just want to go to bed right away, and they don't want to like plan out their days for the next day. So if you want to plan your days in the morning, essentially you just wake up and you plan out the most important things you want to get done, and then you fill in the time gaps around that. Now again, obviously there's multiple ways you can plan out your day. You can just create a to-do list. You can create an actual schedule of like what you're going to do when. You can create just like a top-down list of like, here's what I'm more or less going to be doing today. There's so many different ways you can go do it, and there's so many different approaches to it that I can't even cover all of them in one video. But what I believe that you should be doing is just picking one that you like and just going with it. And then if you don't like it, pick another one. And if you don't like that, pick another one, right? Just pick one until you try it out, and if you don't like it, move on to the next one. And the biggest thing about this is that it's a roadmap. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to follow it. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to get it done thing by thing, item by item. It just means that it's what you should be doing for each day. Now, are there days that your entire plan for the day just completely goes out the window? Yeah, of course. It happens to me all the time. But the difference is that I know exactly what I should be getting done every single day and what I shouldn't be doing. So it allows me to be able to prioritize and focus on the things that actually matter to me, while kind of ignoring or pushing out the things that don't. Now, another thing you want to prioritize is making sure that you're doing the most important things first. So now, for example, if you have an essay that's due tomorrow, you're probably going to want to prioritize putting that first on the to-do list because it's the most important thing. For me, I always prioritize making videos and making content and photos and all the different things that I enjoy, as well as my own health. So usually for me in the mornings, the first thing I usually do is go to the gym or edit in a video. Whatever it is that's most important to you, that's probably the thing that you want to be doing first in the morning. It's probably the first thing you want to plan out because it's the most important thing to you. So now for the last tip is just general tips and tricks that can help this process a little bit better. Because obviously after doing this for a little while and actually learning and trying to be able to teach others about this, you learn a couple things down the line that just make things a little bit easier, that kind of confront issues that you're going to be facing all the time, and just make the whole process that much easier, especially when you actually get the whole base of the actual idea down. So with that being said, let's get into a couple of tips and tricks that will make this a little bit easier for you as well. So now one of the tips of being able to get things done really quickly is actually called the 5-second rule. This isn't exactly related to productivity in and of itself, but it's very close. And then the idea is that if you're thinking about doing something and you're scared to do it, you essentially have to, you essentially count down from 5, and you have to go and start doing that thing within the first 5 seconds of you thinking about it. Otherwise, if you don't, you probably won't end up doing it anyways. But the moment you think about it, you have 5 seconds actually to act on it, or you don't do anything at all. And this isn't meant to essentially like put it off. This is actually meant to get over the fear of doing it, because now you actually have a time limit on it. Now, before you guys say anything, I know you're thinking, wait, Jason, weren't you just like in that spot? And yes, and it's because I'm actually running out of spots in my house to be able to film in, to make this vlog, to make this video interesting. So we're just gonna continue on anyways. Another rule or another trick that you can implement to make your productivity a lot better is something called the 5-minute rule. I can't personally claim for having come up with something like this. In fact, I actually don't fully remember who was the original person that came up with this, but I got the idea from one of Matt DeVillo's videos, basically covering productivity and success. I'll make sure to link his channel down below. And the idea is that if you can get a task done in under 5 minutes, you should just go and do it. So that you don't have it sitting in the back of your head. And if you're wanting to do it, if you get the idea of doing it, but you're in deep work of something else, you write it down, and as soon as you're done with it, you go and do it. It just allows you to be able to do the things that matter, that won't clog up your own mental headspace, because you keep thinking about it and like thinking about how you need to do each of these small tasks, and you just go and do it. So it clears up your mental space, and it allows you to be able to focus on the things that you really should be doing in this moment right now. So let's go to another trick. Now, another trick that I've always done that has worked wonders for me is actually laying things out the night before. So if I want to take a shower in the morning and I don't want to have to remind myself or to remember, the night before I'll usually lay out my clothes, or lay out a towel on my chair that's right in front of the door to my bathroom, so that every single time I wake up and I walk to my bathroom in the morning, I see it and say, oh yeah, I should probably take a shower. So laying things out the night before, or the day, like, you know, the time before you want to actually go and do it, is a really good way to be able to remind yourself, oh hey, I should go and do that thing, because now you have a physical reminder of you needing to do whatever it is that you want to do. And another trick that I usually do is actually taking my phone and putting it into another room, because it essentially allows me to not have a distraction on me, and basically forces it to where I don't have a reason to be looking at my phone when I'm waiting for things to render, or I'm waiting for, you know, this or that. So now, just to recap, let's basically go over the same 3 tips that I gave in this video again. So the first tip obviously is setting up your environment for success by basically clearing your space of all distractions, cleaning it up. Then the next would obviously be planning out your days the night before, the morning of. And then after that, it's just like tips and tricks, like the 5-minute rule, the 5-second rule, putting your phone in the other room, laying things out you want to do, and etc. So if you've liked this video, make sure to comment and like it down below. It really does help my videos out and promoting them in the algorithm. And make sure to subscribe, because more videos like this are coming out soon. Peace.